G'day, listeners. Welcome to Bar Karate, the Sailing Podcast. Another week done, another week of action. We've got a big one this week, and we're very excited to talk to you about it. My name is Jordan Spencer, and joining me to discuss this is, first of all, my mate, Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
It's not going to ever get boring, is it?
No, I just want people to walk in. When you walk into a yacht club, everyone just go, "Greetings, exalted one."
Well, g'day everyone, and welcome to another week of Bar Karate. Yeah, look, it's been one of those strange weekends here in Sydney. Honking westerlies on the harbour, so unfortunately no sailing. I wasn't unable to get on board the X and take her for a ride. All racing got cancelled.
Yep. It's hard what to do when you can't go sailing. We have to think of other things. Oh, well. Let's just talk Bar Karate. Also joining us this evening is...
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Our mate, Nick Bice. Welcome, Mr. Bice.
Well, lucky enough to be sitting next to you, old mate, in the second best state.
What's the first best?
Well, I was hoping you were going to ask that. Pissed, of course.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. And as for exorbitant, well, I might actually have to look that up to actually mention that to you, BP.
Exultant.
Yeah, exorbitant.
You sound like your son.
Hey, fellas, just a quick one before we do kick off. We've lost another great within our sport this week, Olaf Harkin, who obviously a very synonymous name in yachting, and one of the duo of the Harkin brothers, and he passed away in Pewaukee, Wisconsin this week, of which I was lucky enough to spend a few days at their factory a couple of years ago, and I had lunch with both Peter and Olaf in their local restaurant, of which they are very, very well known, and to hear some of the stories, what those boys talked about, was absolutely amazing, astonishing. And without going fully into the depths of the Harkin brothers' upbringing, I advise all our listeners to maybe just have a quick look. There's plenty of it up online at the moment, but it's an amazing story, what those guys went through and what they've managed to achieve. So condolences to the whole Harkin family, especially some close mates of the show, Mark Wiss and Bill Goggins, and we all look forward to celebrating the life of Olaf at Mets this year, of which we'll be attending.
Yep. Well said, boss. Farewell, Olaf. We'll all miss you. All right. It's you wouldn't want to be one of the Allen brothers at the moment, would you?
Fair enough.
Oh, dear. Condolences also have to go out to our Kiwi mates. Us Aussies have got quite used to our rugby team being not very good. The Poms in a very happy place at the moment, so congratulations to them. I had to watch my wife suffer in misery last night as she watched her team go down.
I think I sent a photo through to you today. I thought it might have been a bit too soon to upset our Kiwi friends, but did you see that photo, boys?
Yeah. They've got a guaranteed final that they're in, one that we'll all be following.
Yeah. There was a photo of the cup boat. At least they're going to be in this final.
We'll continue to take the piss out of the Kiwis as hard as we can for as long as we can.
Absolutely out in the same round as us, I think, wasn't it, or whatever it is. But anyway. That's how it is. That's rugby.
Now, boys, BP's been harassing me. Bicey, actually, I want to talk to you. BP's been harassing me since I came up with these little sound bites. He's been giving me a hard time because, as I just said to BP, I want it so that when you two blokes walk into a yacht club, this is what you hear. Whatever your little soundbite is, like say he had a voice that could make a wolverine purr, is what you hear every yacht club you walk into. And BP's going, well, you got to come up one for you, but it's not about me. It's about you two. You two are the heroes of the show. So there's no need for one for me. However, I did discuss this with my wife, and she did suggest one that maybe I should use.
Here we go, BP. Can only imagine.
Yeah, no.
What, did you hit the record button late one night, did you?
Let me play
had a little sip of my wine and I'm waiting for it.
Okay, this is the one my wife suggested that I should use for me.
Well,
Deck, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I pitch excellent.
Oh, I wouldn't expect anything less, mate. Not at all.
It had to be something about the best in the world, or the best there is, or the best of all, the best of everything, or super coach or something.
Oh dear, piss excellence.
Hey, Bicey, do we accept that?
No.
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny whether he pisses excellence, but I do not doubt that there'll be. This is starting some sort of theme for every intro for the J-Dog from now on.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, just a bit of fun. Last week we had a great guest, Simon Fisher, on, and he had a ball. We had a ball. We love hanging out with sci-fi. And he said he was going to the TJV.
Hey, who I might add is shooting up the charts in the overall results.
Yeah. His episode is very popular. Could be rising to the top. But anyway, so he offered to give us an update. He was going to the TJV to look up at the IMOCA 60s, talk through what was going on, and then he was going to come back onto the show and announce his team for the next race. No. So he's offered to give us the inside. Yeah, he's offered to give us the inside tip, and we thought, well, seeing we don't have a billionaire supporting us or anything, and we've got none of the financial resources to send our own body, and we love sci-fi, we'll take him up on that. So welcome back, bud. Double hit. You're the first.
How's it going? Thanks for having me back.
Oh, don't worry. So the merch is coming, mate. We'll deliver some merch at Mets this year for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I look forward to that.
Yeah, we will.
You'll have to come to the diverse
Terry
party
toweling
as well.
hat. You're going to get a terry toweling hat, a pair of shorts, and some thongs, mate.
Sounds great. Can't wait.
So you'll be on the diverse yachting stand there, obviously.
I'll be on the diverse stand, and we're having a little drink on the first night, and you guys are obviously very welcome to attend.
Well,
yeah, I'll be there too.
What stand are we on, boys?
Oh, we're in Hall 7, the USAFE stand.
USAFE.
We could be actually busy on the Tuesday. We've been nominated for the Dame Award, so stand by. Let's see.
I see, getting the plugs in. Well played. Sci-fi.
How you doing?
So today, starting in about an hour and a half. What time? Yeah, probably an hour and a half from when we're recording this, or 2.5 hours actually, is the 14th edition of the TJV. We're doing the route to Cafe, which is the coffee route. Starts, as I said, just a couple of hours our time. 59 boats, 3 classes, the Class 40s, the Multi-50s and the IMOCAs. You had a bit of a look. You want to tell us your impressions, or should we go right into a bit more deets?
No, it's been pretty good. Spent a couple of days in Isle catching up with everyone there. There was a little bit of a IMOCA technical chat for the next ocean race as well. So things are moving along there, and everyone's pretty excited about obviously getting stuck into a new class. But no, it was just really impressive to see all that machinery in the basin there. There's a lot of new boats. It's pretty impressive. It's really interesting to see how everyone's trying to, with the same rule, doing something quite different. So I think these next few days when we see the fleet get out there, it's going to be really exciting to see who's right and who's wrong, or actually how different you can be and still have similar performance.
Yeah, it is very interesting. We're all fired up over this one, aren't we? Because
for many reasons. One, as Sci-Fi alludes to, the new boats. But let's not forget to mention that the actual fleet of IMOCAs, it spans over 20 years. From the oldest boat to the newest boat, and then we've obviously got the new boats. And so, which one took your fancy, Sci-Fi?
Oh no, there's some pretty nice looking boats out there. Hugo Boss is obviously probably one of the more radical with its inside cockpit, but it's a stunning boat. It's beautifully built by the guys. They've done a tremendous job, and it's a real head turner, to be honest. But it's kind of out there. They've not done that many miles, so. We'll see how they go. The newer Pivia is the other one. I guess there's 2 new Vertigo boats. There's a Pivia, which sort of comes out of the Massey team stable. And again, they've not done too many miles, but all the chat is they're in a pretty strong position given how few miles they've done. And it's been winning a few tests down there in France. There's also Advent, the other Vertigo boat, which is a Super 60. So, Bicey, you probably had your hand in the design of that. So, I know it'll be interesting to see how they go as well. Again, they're a bit short on mileage, and they've had to sort of scrap a bit to get ready to get there. But it's an interesting looking boat, and they've actually done some interesting things with the sail plan. Slightly different to the other guys with sort of short hoists on the jibs. So they're experimenting with a few different things. And then I mean, I guess they're the new ones we're all looking at. And then of course there's Chiral, which has been around for a year now. But actually, when you speak to everyone, everyone believes they're the clear favourites just from all that time on the water and the fact that they're dialed in. They've won the last 2 races and they're kind of strong and organised. So a whole crop of new boats, but. It's going to be interesting to see whether someone's just brought new performance to the table with a new idea, or if it actually, the time on the water and refining everything is going to pay dividends.
And do you think with the current forecasts is going to allow us to see that, or we're going to see a massive split in the fleet?
It'd be interesting. I mean, a lot of those guys, obviously their motivation in this race is really, seeing where they're at and working up towards the Vendée Globe. So. It'd be interesting to see if people are just racing and are going to do their own thing, or maybe there'll be a bit of a feeling in the fleet that they want to check in with the others. I guess it's that much harder when you're only 2 up compared to a crewed race where you decide you want to sort of stick with the fleet. But interesting to see, and as you say, the forecast is really interesting. So it's gonna shake things up pretty early after a short beat up the coast to a mark, then they're off downwind for a spell, but it's not going to be long before they're going to have to, put in a serious amount of upwind and tight reaching. So it's not going to be easy for them, and I don't think they're going to get to the trades until somewhere near down by the Canary. So it's going to be pretty fascinating to see actually how fast these foilers go upwind. A few people sort of mentioned they don't like going upwind very much because you sail at slightly wider angles, but about 20 knots, so you get pretty beat up. Yeah, might be a case of seeing how much people can take. But
take the sound cancelling headphones.
I'd say they're a must. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and and I guess it'll be interesting to see how
two pairs of pajamas and two different sets of smocks and.
It's going to be pretty uncomfortable, I think, for those guys. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how they go against the better sort of traditionally foiled boats as well, or the normal daggerboard boats. So plenty to be watching.
So in the 60 class, there's going to be 29 boats. As you said, Sci-Fi, there's pretty much 5 new ones. There's still a couple in build at the moment. You can tell us more about that, can't you, Sci-Fi?
Keep digging.
And a couple.
Well, there's 2 new Vendée boats being built at the moment. I can tell you about those if you like.
Yeah. And then
there's another 1K boat, and I guess we didn't mention our KFA Prep before actually, but they obviously were, looking to have a good race, but broke their foil on the way up. We spoke a little bit about it last week. They're staying fairly tight-lipped on how it broke, but we could definitely see that the foils have been made bigger on the one that was left, and also know they've made some changes to their rake system as well. So not quite sure if they hit something or if it's a case of seeing a little bit. They're unfortunately having to start the race with just 1 foil, so and potentially the extra weight to compensate for that missing foil. So they're in measurement trim. So they might be able to.
Murders, I would say.
Tough start for them. But there's another 1K boat coming early in the new year, and also a Sam Manward boat for the Vendée, which everyone's actually very interested to see. He's done some interesting Class 40 designs. Very good mini designer, so it'll be exciting to see what comes out.
Is his new Class 40 in the TJV? The one that was just
it's going to be lining up. I have to admit, I can't remember the name of it, but everyone's expecting. There's that new Manward boat, and there's also which is quite a scow-like design, and there's a new David Raison boat as well. So cool. Another very scow-esque boat, and the Lombard scows as well were pretty strong last time. So it'll be interesting to see how those scow boats go in this forecast versus more traditionally shaped yachts.
So the forecast. Traditionally, if you're doing this race, you race south to get down to the trade winds, then head west and try and jump across the doldrums as quick as you can, and where it's a little bit narrower on the western side. Looking at the forecast, though, she's definitely not a traditional high-pressure system sitting there. There's a low-pressure coming in. So the theory is that a few people could go west. You could ride a little bit of a thing west, and then you're going to have to do some upwind work. As you said, Sci-Fi, the scow shape hulls going upwind, there's nothing worse, really, is there?
No, I guess I have to admit I haven't sailed one, but I can imagine the slamming would be pretty bad. I mean, I think you got to keep it tipped over, I reckon, just to try and keep that bow out of the water, I'd say.
Just canter to leeward.
100%.
100%. PP's gone the confirmation.
Yep. Look, I as you know, did a bit of mini stuff, and when David Razon's boats first hit the water, you could actually see them the way they were sailing them, and it's absolutely all about eradicating the wetted surface area. So that's what they're going to be working on. But on top of that, also, I was just looking at the weather, and I reckon we're going to see a massive split in the feet. I think you're going to see the older boats just smash into it, and maybe the the newer boats sort of take a more conservative approach and try and get around the top of it. So that's my thoughts anyway when I just looked at it. Yeah, no,
I think any boat that goes upwind well, some of the older designs will probably just take the shortcut, go the straight route. What about? I'd be interested. So here's a hypothetical. Is this the Brits finally going to win, beat the French at their own game?
In the IMOCA class? Well, it'd be good. We've got a strong pairing with Alex Thompson and Neil. I don't think they've done too much sailing together yet, but certainly two guys you can never count out. They're both tremendous amount of experience in the IMOCAs, and Neil's a guy that, if you get the chance to sail with, you'll always take. So, it's good to see. Really interested to see how those guys are going to go. And, very different boat. I think they've done about 3,000 miles, but they've done some good testing, and they're happy. But, as Alex admitted when I caught up with him down there, is they don't know what they don't know, because they've been sailing sort of on their own up to this point, whereas some of the other guys have done a bit more testing together. But I think we can expect a pretty strong performance from them. And they don't usually hold back, and they probably want to get as much information for the Vendée as they can. And if they're going to break something, then they might as well do it now. So let's see how they go.
I saw one interview where they certainly weren't talking it up. Want to test the boat, do this, do that. But we all know the minute that start gun goes, she's a whole different story. So maybe that's Neil's main job, to actually hold Alex back a little bit, because for sure Alex is a guy who doesn't back off. So let's stand by and see.
Yeah, there is actually a caption in one of the websites I was looking at here. It sort of suggests that Alex and Neil racing together. Neil being be slow. It says England's victory League World Cup semi-final will no doubtlessly have given them a little boost. So there's a definite link to that as well. So just to rub that in.
Well, I'm sure they'll be pumped.
And it says down here there was more. Yeah, it says there was more than one screen tuned in. He's talking about watching the rugby downstairs.
Well, I guess imagine when is the final? Next Saturday night. Yeah. Oh, so definitely do a lee bow attack on them then.
Absolutely.
Good work.
All right. See you coming. They'll be downstairs. All the screens will be turned off. We'll be watching the footy.
So I'm sure they can sail and watch the rugby at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. With all them buttons and ropes downstairs, just trim on them. Jib a bit, please, mate. Hang on. He's just having a penalty kick.
All right. Well, so obviously you've said Shirell's probably the favourite. Everyone's sort of saying Shirell's the favourite. Who's the dark horses?
I guess you could probably put PRB. There's a couple of boats who are fairly up to speed as foilers, but not brand new boats. I think you've got to put PRB in there as a dark horse.
Oh, yep.
Kevin Escoffier and Nico Lundgren, both very good sailors, both very experienced offshore sailors. And PRB, it won the race earlier in the year when it was branded under Archaea, and it was second in the Fastnet and put in some pretty good pace on the way out to the rock. So I'd say for a boat that's sort of tried, tested, and very, very proven, they're going to be pretty strong. And then obviously Charlie Enright and Pascal, I think, are going to be good as well. They were second in their first race together.
Yep.
their foil system probably a bit more downwind orientated than some of the others, so that might hold them back. But probably a pretty solid boat with a good track record. So it's going to be interesting to watch those two.
There'll be as far as pushing it, they definitely know where the limits would be on that boat. Or they would have been erased, those limits, for the amount of sailing that it's done. So that'll be interesting. I agree.
Yep, that's a good assessment. Who we think? So I think we're all in that. So what about the other fleets? Do we want to talk about them, or should we ignore them?
Yeah,
we'll pretty much ignore them. But
I'd like to bump onto the Class 40s if you don't mind.
Okay,
we mentioned earlier in the mini transit coverage that there was a bunch of new names in the mini transit for this year. A lot of the guys that did the last couple of mini transits have stepped up and they're in the Class 40s. We've got Luke Berry, who's stepped up, and also Simon Costa. So there's a couple of pretty hot competitors in that fleet. So that's going to be a really interesting fleet to watch.
Yeah, so 27 boats in that class. It's sort of an open hull design, I think, from memory in the Class 40. A little bit of one design action in the rigs and stuff, but I haven't read the rules. I'm just going off memory here. So should be interesting, that one. Anyone favoured there, do you think? There's a few new boats in the fleet, few new boats under build. Any ideas who's going to win that one?
Oh, I think the combination of Luke Berry and Tanguy Lecaze from France is going to be pretty solid. But then Sam Goodchild is teamed up with Fabien de la Haye. So he won the Class 40s in 2013. So that's a good team. So it's actually two English against each other with two French against each other on the same boat. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch for sure.
Anyone else? Sci-Fi, do you have a look at this fleet? You much over this?
Yeah, obviously not with the same amount of scrutiny as the IMOCA class, but yeah, there's interesting boats, and I think as Brett mentioned, both Luke Berry and Sam Goodchild would be good ones to watch, and good potential win for a British guy. So I've stubbed with Sam a bit, and I'd like to see him do well. And cool. I know he's been working hard at this, and. Yep. He's doing a lot of offshore racing with, he's very involved in the Spindrift team as well when they're record breaking. So, and then Fabien's worked with Dongfeng. So with those guys on the strategy and performance side. So a bit of Volvo Ocean Race experience there as well for him. I think he did a couple of legs with Dongfeng last time. So I'll be watching those guys.
Cool. Go on, boss.
No, I was... how many Class 40s? There's almost 30, right?
27.
Yeah, so... tough. Must be awesome, right?
Yeah, that's what I reckon. Be good fun. It's pretty doable. And I don't think the fleet has stabilised on a hull shape that works. So there's a bit of variance in when you look at the boats. So... because it's not that old a class.
Yeah, the Class 40 fleets, I guess it's stationed itself in between the minis and the IMOCAs in that it's a progressive design. It just continually goes along on a sort of a continual design lifespan, if you like, and they've found themselves as pretty close to the latest ones. Are all pretty similar, but they're definitely not as they don't go as far out as the IMOCAs. But what it does is it creates a really close racing, not unlike the minis.
Yeah,
cool. And it's cool to see the good mini designers, David Raison and Sam Munward, who we mentioned already. They're putting in some pretty interesting boats, and I think everyone's watching those ones really closely because they have been very successful in the mini class with some pretty radical hull shapes. So it's kind of cool to see them getting scaled up. And I guess going back to the IMOCAs, there's the Sam Munward boat launching in January. So I think the whole of the IMOCA fleet are sort of watching with great interest about that boat when it launches. So although you can't go quite as scow in the IMOCA class because of the rules, but that style of boat's certainly interesting, and it's going to be really interesting to see how these new boats go against some of the stronger teams with more traditional shapes, I guess.
Yeah, and also then the weather influence and the decision which way to go for this class will be. There's a big chance of split in this class is kind of what I feel. The newest boat in the fleet is Banque du Liman. if you're looking. So that's just been launched for about a month. So if you're looking, it's the Swiss boat. If you're looking for the latest U-Butte design, have a look at that one. And then the third fleet is not very big, only 3 boats. So I can probably forecast the top 3 for you if you ask me. But the multi-50s. The multi-50s. How cool are these little things?
Oh, mate.
These are not little, but...
Yeah. Balls are still required, I believe.
Yeah, they're terrifying, aren't they?
Bloody oath.
Imagine being on one of those, just asleep down below, relying on the bloke above just to try and not tip it over.
You just keep an eye on things while I go for a little rest, will you?
Yeah. You'd be sleeping with both eyes open for sure. Did you have any look at any of those, Sci-Fi?
The 50s, yeah, a little look. Yeah, obviously, there's a much smaller class of those guys. There's only 3 of them. From what I understand, there's one guy who's a clear favourite, and then I can't remember the name of it now. The one beginning Primono or something like that is pretty new. I actually sat alongside that in the Fastnet for a bit when we were on jetty. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys go.
Yeah. I think the boat that's been winning the most in the fleet currently is Group GCA. There's a brand new boat. I think it's the Solidarity, the Peloton, Solidarity in the Peloton, if I can read my French. Solidaris en Peloton. ASEP. How close to that?
It's like Phil Liggett watching the bloody Tour de France. Oh, look at that castle. Le Castle.
Le Castle. Yeah, so...
Bicey, are you sitting there laughing your head off at that or what?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm actually playing with his keyboard, changing a few names.
Remember
bringing up the harder ones.
This is one for you, BP. Our mate Aquila, the mini Aquila with the sort of the wing that Akea.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to. What's our mate?
Akima.
What was his name?
Romaric
Nehauser. Romaric from Breton in France, who's a wonderfully nice human being.
Oui.
And very shy man. So
we'll never be able like yourself.
We'll never get him on the show. So he's just designed one of these new 50s, which is in production.
Yeah, cool.
So that's not far from coming off. So I'll be interested to see because he came up with some radical stuff on the Mini. So it'll be another cool one.
Stand by.
Sci-Fi, would you go and do some laps on a multi 50, mate?
I'd be really scared to sail around the world on a mod 70, so an actual lap on a 50 would be, I think, pretty terrible. They actually look pretty small when you see them on the dock. Yep. They look quite small, but I think they'd be a lot of fun. Short. They look like a heap of fun.
Yeah, about 60 foot too short, I reckon.
Yeah.
They don't have that, like all the sort of modern stuff, they're starting to leave a lot of bow out the front. The rig's right back. On the 50s, they're right to the front. Everything. They do look like they'll go nose down pretty quick. So, I honestly, I was looking at some footage and I'm going, I'm not sure I'll go to sea on that. I'm not sure. Right. But then again, I don't go out and I'm not going on anything that's going to get me wet anyway. So, all right. So, what else, Sci-Fi? What else should we be thinking of? Anything different about foils? Let's go back to the 60s. Anything different about the foils? Did you notice?
Yeah, no. There's actually, when you look between the boats, I guess there's a lot of difference. I guess the one common theme between all the boats is they've got a lot bigger since the last time around. I guess people sort of stepped into it quite gently in the last go around of development of these boats, but now everyone's getting pretty punchy and the foils are getting pretty big. I think last time they were worried about loading the foils up and overloading the boat, so we're quite conservative. But it seems like the way they're going now is they're putting big foils on and relying on all the rigging loads and alarms and stuff to rein them. They're relying on the alarms and good numbers to know when to rein it in a bit. So certainly they're all big foils, but they're very different. I think Alex Thompson's boat, the Hugo Boss, is probably the most out there with the big sort of almost semicircular curved foils.
I guess Arkea is along those lines as well, but they have those notches in basically they still come out through the deck, like at the top sides.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes out on that semicircular type motion. But RK has more the steps in it as opposed to the big cock and balls of Alex Thompson's boat.
Yeah. No, exactly. I wonder, I won't give too much away, but I wonder if one of the things they're trying to do with Hugo Boss is make it so it is possible to swap sides with the foils and reverse.
Yeah.
We've had that theory.
Yeah. So they're probably the most out there, and the only other thing with it being big and curved is I guess they work through a wider range of heel angles, I guess, which would be interesting to see.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And then you look, you got the Vertigo foils that getting very big, sort of quite long with the curve, very very narrow at the tips, which I think have been really a sort of an all-round foil compared to say Chirao on the VPLP boats. There's another VPLP old boat with VPLP foils which look quite similar to Chirao's, which is MACSF. But both of those boats, I guess the foil design is quite a high-speed foil. If the chat's correct, and a few more corners and elbows, but probably more optimised for stronger winds. Copy. Or higher boat speeds, I should say.
Yep. Right. Well, there is one point to come in on that, actually, boss, because we know all about this, is that the bigger the foil, the more riding moment those foils generate, the more loads that's going to put through the rigs. And it's a one design rig in the IMOCA class, and it's rated to probably less than those foils riding moment those foils are generating.
Well, that's kind of part of the game, and as Sci-Fi mentioned, that they are waiting for that alarm to go off, and they either know whether to decanvas or pull the foils in a bit. So that's going to be part of the game as well.
Yep, part of the game. Cool. All right, so we're all pumped up to see. I guess we're all very excited to see.
How many boats will be back at the dock in 24 hours?
Oh, good question. How many boats will be back at the dock within 24 hours? Traditionally, half the fleet.
And there'll be a split of about 220 miles.
I've got to say, I've got to say that this weather system it's a watcher's dream. I can't wait to see it happen. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't like to be out there.
Well, the first night will be all right, going downwind, better than the last edition. Put it that way. So.
Yeah, you're going to get some nice downwind sailing for the first 24 hours. Yeah. And then, after that, I think it's going to be tough. If you break something early on, it's going to be tough to live
And if you're
through
going west, we might call
many
Nova
days
Scotia.
of going upwind. So for sure, some are going to be coming back.
Yeah,
for sure. So when we won't be TJV next year. We'll be Vendée. I guess you won't be doing the Vendée though, Sci-Fi, will you, with your new boat?
I won't be doing the Vendée, no. I could definitely confirm that.
No, I was just trying to think what IMOCA events are going to come up in the next 12 months that we'll be seeing you with your boat.
Unfortunately, most of the IMOCA events coming up are going to be single-handed. This is obviously the single-handed Transat, and I think, and then they've got to race back the other way, which I think is actually the last opportunity for those Vendée guys to qualify. So.
Yep.
That'll be interesting.
And the other thing is of importance is that this Vendée is still raced under the old rules, and then the new rules that have just been brought out will apply from the ocean race. So
actually, we're pretty much aligned with the rules in the ocean race. It's going to be very similar to.
But that's the next set of rules,
and then the next Vendée, I think they'll change the rules again.
Yeah,
but,
I thought
finally let the boats fly.
Yeah,
maybe some elevators on the rudders. Who knows?
Well, we tried. So yeah.
All our sources say elevators are very good. It's a shame they didn't let them in. I think. Yeah, at least for the ocean race.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the Super 60, she looked pretty good with all that stuff hanging off her. So she was a glamour, and she had elevators on. Makes the boat safer. That was our proposal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's all about safety.
Safety.
And good photos, of course.
Safety at speed.
That's it. All right, okay. So we're all pumped up for the TJV. We'll watch it through the week. We suggest you all tune in. There'll be some great images coming out. It's going to be great fun. Sci-Fi, mate, thanks for coming and talking to us about it. It's always fun to hang out with you.
No, pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Simon, and we'll see you soon in Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah?
Very good. I look forward to catching up.
We better not go live from Amsterdam.
Maybe we'll do that.
The Met special.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice, mate.
It fits in our business model.
It does. All right. Okay.
Awesome.
Very good. Catch you soon.
See you,
Thanks,
bud.
guys.
Cheers.
Gentlemen, that was always fun. What yacht are we buying this week? We just sort of started throwing this idea at each other the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and we've sort of run with it a bit. BP has not committed to a boat once, okay? Bicey and I have sort of thrown a couple out there. BP's going, I like that one too. But this week, you didn't come up with...
You've come early. Oh, shit. Sorry. What was I just saying?
You've come in hard.
What are you saying?
And you've come up with 3 different versions of what we want. So, first off, you nominated the Baltic 142 Canova, correct?
Yeah, well, look, I'm still I'm a bit wobbly here at the moment after that comment.
Okay.
So I came in with the Baltic 142 because it's from my beloved FAR consortium, and obviously a downwind or reaching round the world boat.
Oh, I think this is going downhill quick, boys.
What?
The fuck of what?
And so... And Bicey sort of, then just sort of got stuck into me a bit about it, and I went, "Oh, no worries, we'll have a look around what's going on." And then I got back into it and sort of looked around, and there was quite an interesting article on the Melges 40s.
Yep.
And I did see the Melges 40s in Palma when they were just launching, and I thought, oh, geez, it's going to be hard for them to gain traction. A canning keel, one design round the Cairns boat. It's like, but the article was actually really positive about how many people are actually taking these into taking these boats to heart. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy one of those.
Right.
But I was sort of sitting around today and having another little look, and I found an old boat that had this what's called the SBS booster on it. Did you see that? I sent it to you just to have a look at it.
The Sailing Booster System, my Lord.
Well, it's actually the Shitter Booster System. I've decided to rename it the Shitter Booster System.
I thought we were always positive on this show.
Moment it's a toss-up between the Melges 40 and the Shitter Booster System. It's hard for me to test. It's hard for me to make a decision.
So... if you want to look it up, we're always positive on the show. If you want to see what BP's talking about, obviously we all know the Melges 40. The Sailing Booster System, I just suggest you Google.
How good is it?
It's like unreal.
I reckon they could have come up with a better video, though. Well, they chose the worst boat to show it on.
I know.
Like a Compass 28 or something. Might as well put it on a Dunk 29. No, pretty cool though.
All right, so do yourself a favour. Google that, the Sailing Booster System, and then maybe you can even give us some feedback to see if it's something that would work on your boat. I'm intrigued.
Look, the thing that got me was some of the comments, and look, we don't pretend to be designers in this on Bar Karate, but we do have a little bit of knowledge on certain things and certain aspects of sailing. But some of the comments were just absolute gold.
In the video,
the future is here. The future is here. This is the game changer.
That was on the
this
Facebook
is the game
Yacht Club
changer.
site,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I think they should put on a McGregor 26.
I can't wait to see this in 3 years' time.
A McGregor 26 with 50 horsepower, fully foiling.
Yeah, on there.
Awesome.
Sailing booster system on a McGregor.
It's the riding moment that it produces. You've got the ability. You've got the ability to throw the windward leg up in the air.
Straight out.
It's just wonderful.
All right. Okay. Come on. We've been always positive, guys. We're going a bit negative here. What did Bicey? Did you come up with something else?
Yeah, I'm going with the MC38 this week.
Oh, Bicey and BP. You're both going the sort of one design.
MC38. I said Julian Newton's got his new boat down in Adelaide now.
Game on 2.
So that kind of.
Can I say that he is our biggest listener, and Cheerios out to Julian Newton and the team at Game On. Good on them.
Absolutely. And, I mean, a great little fleet sailing around Sydney Harbour.
Yep, one design fleet.
And for what Julian's got, I think it's a perfect boat for Adelaide. And then for Lincoln Race and what have you, he's going to go well. So, MC38.
A bit like the Melges 40, that same sort of feel and idea and stuff. It's that sort of one design, high performance toy.
Yeah, she's got a lot less freeboard. So we're going to see how it goes in the short downhill chop in Adelaide. I think the biggest thing with that situation was they spoke to Dave Alexander about getting slightly smaller spinnakers so that it doesn't bury itself so quickly. Because it's got some big sail area. And
not as fun. Not as fun.
Not as fun, yeah. Put a foil on it.
SBS.
That's it. All right, cool. Good discussion. All right, so we've chosen a couple of boats. Good to see. I didn't actually decide which one you went for, BP. Which one did you actually decide?
Look,
SBS,
I'm going to pull back. I'm going to go to the Melges 40. It's for me, it's a little fleet that seems to be growing, and I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
cool. And then we have lots of fun discussions.
SBS close second.
Okay, good work. We're having this discussion this week about who is the greatest athlete non-sailor. Obviously, the greatest athlete is a sailor, but who is the greatest athlete non-sailor? Any nominations? Because you know what mine is.
You know mine, Peter Sagan.
Peter Sagan. Oh, for those who know Bicey, he's quite the man about town. He's pretty comfortable in a room, pretty happy to walk in a crowd. But get him around Peter Sagan.
Oh yeah,
I've seen him around Peter Sagan twice.
Oh yeah,
and you just go into your shell. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I should start drinking way earlier in the day.
Please.
Peter Sagan is.
Can I ask who's Peter Sagan?
Is probably one of the best. Well, according to Bicey, he's the best cyclist in the world.
Yeah, he's dropped off the perch a little bit in the last couple of years, but
he's amazing.
Several world championships and green jersey 7 times maybe.
He's a very strong cyclist.
Yeah, and he can do a mono as well.
Well,
so I'll give him that.
Mono.
Really.
Before we go into your selection, Jordan, which I absolutely agree with 100%. I'm gonna come back to Australia. I'm gonna go Johnny Platten, the Rat from Australian
number 44, Central Districts.
Number 44 came from Central Districts. Went over to Hawthorn and was just an absolute legend. Could run all day. People underestimate how fit you have to be in AFL, and I did do a search on the internet earlier about the top 20 greatest athletes of all time, and I think they're all American-based websites because baseball to me doesn't seem like you need to be really fit.
Just lots of roids.
So for those who are not from Australia and don't know what AFL is, Australian football, Johnny Platten was an Australian football player. If you imagine a dirty mop, invert your dirty mop and run it around the paddock, that's basically what he looked like.
a lot shorter than dirty mop.
Probably a lot shorter. Yeah, it's a good one. But so the nomination that I came up with for this is a controversial one, but it's undeniable. And I can't explain who he is. I just have to tell you the name and ask you to go and Google on YouTube and see the videos of him in action. Scott Sterling. Google Scott Sterling, probably the greatest soccer goalkeeper that has ever been, and also
he's a winner.
And considered probably the best setter that's ever been in volleyball.
Yeah, definitely.
So, He is quite the legend. If you've never seen Scott Sterling play sport, can I suggest that you go and do that? Don't forget, so Scott Sterling, and feel free to give me feedback on our Facebook page as to how you think that goes. BP?
I've just had a really funny thought. Now, Scott Sterling's sporting prowess it's above the average, but what I would like to actually bring into the fact, what about if he was actually sailing on a boat and the boat was in a Chinese jibe situation? Do you reckon he could prevent that?
Oh,
Yep.
Human preventer.
Yep. Human preventer. Nailed it. Yes.
Don't act like you're not
Now,
impressed.
for all of those people who don't know,
Just
people who don't know Scott Sterling,
just reminded me of a real quick story that my old man always used to tell me. He took out a journalist once sailing, and they're going downwind and about to jibe, and he goes, "Look out for the boom." And the journalist put his fingers in his ear. Got knocked over the side. Boom. There you go.
Dear, oh dear.
well, Scott Sterling obviously wasn't on board. He would have saved the day.
Yeah, the human preventer.
That's it. All right, good work. So people are going to look up Scott Sterling. We've said the name enough, and you can write your thanks into us once you've actually Googled him and seen what his skill set's like. You'll be blown away. Guys, Starboard have put forward their Ifoil proposal for the new Olympic class on the windsurfer. So a foiling windsurfer. Did you guys have a look at that? I sent you a little bit of
Yeah, I
video.
had a look. It doesn't excite me.
Doesn't
I've got to
excite
say.
BP?
Doesn't excite me.
Yeah, I had a little bit to do with this when I was living back in Spain. To be honest, I went down to Marmenor, and I was sponsoring an event there, and I was looking after the clothing, Magic Marine, for a bit of fun. And it was actually their first ever World Championships before the boards were as they are now, and they were doing that whole Jordan Spencer downwind sort of sailing thing that you're talking about. And it was really kind of exciting, the way they were doing it.
Right, foiling or...
Yeah, the forwards, yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, they sail, they go to a mark, and then they come slowly downwind, and and it was but the speed they were doing was phenomenal.
Well,
Back
yeah.
then.
So the whole suggestion is that this is a replacement for the Neil Pride board that everyone uses now. Looks pretty similar, sort of simple. It's cost effective. It's about $6,000 for a board, I think. So 9 metre for the men, and I think an 8 metre for the women in terms of sail size. Which is they're bigger than the old days, aren't they? And yeah,
How do the courses set up
No
between foiling and
no clue.
standard? No different.
No clue. I would say be identical, but it's exactly like, I would think. No clue. We can make it up. But anyway, have a look, see if you like it. Bicey's unimpressed. BP sort of likes it.
I mean, you watch them going along. It's like, oh, yeah. Kind
Yeah.
of just, it's not dynamic.
I'm in agreement.
It's just
Well,
kind
people
of,
into it.
In agreement.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say there's
Must be a sensational feeling.
there's
for
a
sure.
lot of foiling going on these days.
Yeah.
Binks Marine, our mates at Binks
I
Marine.
was doing a bit of a look today, as you do, and I just stumbled across the Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club site, and they're out there doing a bunch of Wally stuff, and I preferred watching the Wallies, to be honest.
Actually, you know what course would work really well for these boats? In fact, any boat, even the IMOCA 60, is my pursuit course.
Oh, tell us more.
My
Again.
pursuit
Yeah,
course.
that's what I was. That's what I was just talking about.
Oh, yeah. So, for those who don't know, my idea is if you've ever seen an indoor cycling race where they have the pursuit race where one bike starts on one side of the track and the other one starts on the other side of the track, and they chase each other. So one heads off in one direction, the other heads in the other, and you trace around, and whoever finishes first over the designated number of laps, or if they catch the other cyclist, wins. And so I've got the same theory for a sailing race. It's the perfect sailing race for big crowds where you can have clouds, you can have it right next to the shore. You have the committee boat in the centre of the course. If you look, imagine if you're looking at a wall, imagine the wind is pointing straight down, and then you have a mark in line with the wind, then you have the committee boat, and then you have another mark, and then at 90-degree angles, way out, you set up two buoys. So basically, you've got one boat starts going one way, the other one starts going the other way at full speed, basically reaching around the mark, jibe and tack, around the mark and just do loops around that course, and whoever gets to the finish line first after the designated number of laps wins. It's just a drag race.
Yeah,
and,
yep.
you know, with the IMOCAs with their big foils out the side.
I'm all over it.
Yeah.
Now, I've got something for
I'm
you.
in agreement.
Yep, throw it.
I'm not saying I'm
We'll call
not
it the
in
Bar
agreement.
Karate Challenge.
I like the concept for sure. But stadium sailing itself, it hasn't exactly just cranked out of the window.
Because they haven't used my course.
The difference.
Yeah.
But TJV, they got 1 million people walking through the race village for a couple of boats that within an hour you can't see them again.
Exactly.
So something needs to be done.
Well, they tried at Azimuth. They just did that drag race, right,
Yeah.
where they just sent them out for photo opportunity. But, I mean, effectively, it's just tight reaching, so you get them all. But that's effectively what it offers. And so
Yeah.
you just got to be good with your jibe or your tack, and then
Yep.
away you go. And, I mean, obviously, as you come into one corner where you go into the jibe, you're slightly lower than side onto the wind. And as you come into the other one where you've got to go into attack, you're slightly closer
Yeah.
than a reach, beam reach. But it's equal. It equals out because you do same
sure.
number of laps.
Yep.
So it'd be really good from a commentary perspective. It's really easy for non-sailors to understand, and you'd see some pretty spectacular stuff. And so the falling stuff would work with that as well.
I like it. Give it a thumbs up.
I agree.
All right.
Yep.
Thumbs up. Oh, gentlemen, this next topic. This is a tough topic to talk about.
Transition.
You love it. You love it, BP. The musician in you just loves it, doesn't it? Yeah. Gentlemen, so this week we heard some news where a Florida fisherman went missing for 2 weeks and was discovered. BP's already lost it. Now, he was lost at sea, and he was wrecked off the coast of Florida, and he was rescued after 2 weeks, found on a small rocky island 200 miles off the nearest coastline, and he managed to survive off eating seagulls, mussels and urchins. The doctors didn't fear for his life, but he was suffering from intense hallucinations, supposedly. Basically, he described that he was sexually assaulted by mermaids whilst he was lost
wrecked,
on the
all
island.
right.
Now, gentlemen, you two have spent some time at sea. Have you ever felt threatened by mermaids?
Not at sea.
No.
Not even in one of those young fellas.
On
races.
land.
But old mate, how old is he?
72.
He's pretty old.
Yeah, he's got a young mind.
Yeah,
I'll
72.
tell you what. He's thinking back to Splash, maybe.
The-
A few little-
The comment that got me was, which I won't go into too much graphic detail because it was actually quite graphic. It was he was showing signs of various injuries of the area,
genitalia,
I should say. But the doctor said that
Front and back.
genitalia,
Front and back areas.
and in the back genitalia bit.
Well,
Yep, front and back, and the doctor said it was unlikely that it was caused by sea animals. And I just lost it.
yeah, likely self-inflicted. So basically what they're
Likely
saying
to be
is,
self-inflicted.
old mate reckon the doctor said that he probably suffered dehydration and the toxins from the mussels he consumed on the islet may have caused him to hallucinate. And so that's a cracker. Florida man. Old Florida man.
It was just a coincidence he was stuck on a rocky island called Dick Island.
Well, it was just a coincidence that you were in Florida at the time.
Oh, that's what happened in that 36 hours.
Oh dear! Who
I love the story. I love the story though. Could you imagine being raped by mermaids? I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine.
It's just no.
Anyway,
there is no true picture of a mermaid. I have seen some pretty ugly pictures of mermaids. I mean, who knows? They could be like venomous, snake-headed animals.
Let's shut this topic down because I got way too much stuff to say, and I better not.
Righto, pull it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, BP, I've got a surprise for you.
Here we go. Oh.
BP, we haven't told you about this because I want to see your reaction. We've had some feedback.
How many times is this going to happen?
This is a good one. We've had some feedback on you remember the beer tasting test where Bicey did really well tasting the beers, right?
Yeah.
So there was some feedback that came where some people suggested that, because we decanted everything into glasses, right? That some people suggested that affected the flavour, and it might have been a better result if we just left it in the bottle. We left the beer in the bottle. So we've actually gone out and I've recreated this whole thing, and we've left the beer in the bottle. So you'll be able to, Bicey's just going to drink it straight out of the bottle, right? And see if we can do a better result. So
are we going to do this now?
We're going to do it now. We're going to do it now.
All right.
What I wanted to do is I just need to set it up. So I've just
I was just about to say, where is the lovely hostess? And she just walked in behind you.
Well, so what I'm going to do is I've just got to quickly organise something. So what I've done is I've pre-recorded the rules and the instructions. So Bicey can't hear anymore, okay? All right, so Bicey is not able to hear what's going on. And we're going to test this, okay? So I'm going to quickly just play a bit of audio that I've recorded, and then it'll all make sense. So BP, just have a listen. Okay, BP listeners, what's going on at the moment is we're doing the setup for the taste testing, but what we're not actually doing is a taste testing. The whole thing is a setup to confuse Bicey. What's happened is we were out the other day and we heard this story about how you can actually buy beer that's preloaded or carbonated with helium. So I rushed home to check that out because that made us laugh, and checked it out, found out it's not true. But I had a bit of a thought by myself, and what I've been doing is experimenting, and I've preloaded helium into the actual beer bottle itself. So I've actually loaded it up with a tube into the beer bottle as much as I can. So the secret is going to be to open it just as he's about to taste it, and hopefully he gets a whole gob full of helium. So this whole thing is a setup to try and catch Bicey out and see if we can get him to drink basically a mouthful of helium and get a bit of a chuckle. So that's what's going on. So let's see how it plays out. Did you get that, BP? So Bicey can't hear any of this. I'm all over it. So Bicey, are you ready to take the beer on?
I wonder why we're doing it twice, because I just pretty much nailed it last time. But I'm more than prepared. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. We're going to get Bicey to open the bottle of beer. So immediate. There we go.
Well, it tastes like... What the fuck? What's going on? It's definitely a fail. What? Is my headphones... What are you... You've set me up. You've set me up again. Every time. Whoa. Well, hello, sailor. I got a feeling you've set me up. The old no label beer trick.
How did the beer taste, mate? Gassy?
Well, to tell the truth, I've kind of forgotten. Oh, it's definitely a summer ale.
Oh, worth every cent. Worth every cent. What'd you think, BP? Did that work?
Well done.
Well, now are you going to let me in on the joke, you fellas, or what?
Yeah. No, had to pump your beer bottle full of helium. It's
Oh, right. Now I get it. Yeah, after old mate the other day.
That's it.
When we went to Dan Murphy's, he mentioned something about you're tricky fella, eh?
Yeah, but it doesn't work. You can't carbonate beer with helium. It was all a lie. But if you fill the bottle up, empty a little bit of beer out, and then fill it up, and then close the lid.
Straight in.
That's why you had to trick it. The lid came off just. Hey?
Well, bravo. You've done well. You've done well. That was a fucker. That was a cracker.
It sounded awesome. Love it. Well, at least we thought it was funny, BP.
Love it.
Righto.
You idiots.
You idiots. That's correct. Okay.
Let's get serious.
Moving on.
Sorry, what did you say? Jeez, we've knocked it down a few notches. We're at 9% seriousness this edition.
Yeah, this is the least serious edition.
I was just about. Yeah, I saw 8%, so that's why I sort of just pulled it back a bit.
Yeah, we've started a new bar karate app.
Oh, dear.
It's called the seriousness app.
Yeah, it's like a battery. How much seriousness you got left? Secret Pro News.
We're in the red.
That's it. Recharge. Secret Pro News.
Yes, got two for you. Well, not two, actually.
Yeah.
I got some news about the Secret Pro. There's word we've put a rat within the ranks. And some would have seen it in many different circles going around. But there has been footage of an actual rat running around the inside of one of the Volvo Ocean 65s. Which it's not necessarily Secret Pro news, but we definitely hope. Yeah, they're wondering why their electronics aren't working. I'll tell you what, mate, get rid of the rat.
There you go.
But the other one, once again, it may not be. Well, it's going to become pretty come across the airways very, very soon. But Tom Burton has entered the 2020 ILCA Laser Standard World Championships being held at Sandringham Yacht Club, Melbourne, from Feb 9 to 16, therefore going up against his old foe, Matt Wern, who has been selected for the Tokyo Olympics. So possibly for the last time ever, we're going to see that NARM off. And we brought this up a few episodes ago, actually, with the early pre-selection, and we had our various theories on why it was early, why it was... Or not at all, or what would you wait? And then there's been a few other discussions about that in the meantime. But this will be an interesting one. And to tell the truth, I haven't dug much deeper since we spoke about it. But it'd be interesting to know whether he's there out of spite or he's there to just... or he's a good bloke and he just wants to do the regatta. Or
he's defending champion, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, BP, what was that? Be careful.
The Australian Hall of Fame the other night, and and that's okay. It's all good. And he was there, and the mood was quite somber. But look, he's a sportsman, and I guess he's sort of accepted. But I think that he would love to go up and to take it on and see how it pans out in Melbourne. It's in Melbourne, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. I mean, the selection process is a selection process, and that's how it is. So
it's pretty interesting they went so early, but there is the obvious thing that's going to happen though is that Tom Burton's moving on to the Ginga Challenge. Simple as that.
Maybe he called it early.
Maybe.
Yeah, he said, I haven't got time for this Olympics shit. I've got something else coming up. But he's just keeping his eye.
This Ginga Challenge program's just massive.
It is massive. It's a bit Aussie heavy. We need some instruction on some...
Well, we've got a few Mongolians, right?
And what's the French sailor that was on the Sail GP? He's on the French team. He's a full Ginger. Can't remember. We got to start bringing other countries in, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Except for New Zealand.
They got a few, just quietly.
Yeah. No, just joking. We love the Kiwis. Right, so that's a bit of interest. We'll move on to results. You still with us, BP?
Yep. Love the transition.
Beauty. Middle Sea race, we saw that sort of finish pretty early last week. Maltese yacht was the overall winner. Elusive 2, skippered by the Podesta family, who have I think they've been in...
Big history in the race.
Yeah, they've been sailing the race since day one, since the first edition. And Old Rambler, George David's little toy.
Yep.
With the winner over the line.
5 in a row for Rambler.
Wow.
So a race that required steadfast persistence and patience in conditions that veered from the mentally sapping benign to the physically punishing malign.
Wow. Wow.
And just
look
to
at
mention...
that. Look at those words.
The Elusive
How did you
2.
get them words out? Bicey?
It's something I've been working on for a few years now. Been waiting for a race to come along that actually bored the shit out of me. So, but now got it. But the overall winner, a Beneteau 45, are still going well, eh? The old Beneteaus.
Yeah,
Started off with the original beach ball, the 40 and the 42 and the 45. They're still winning races.
Yeah,
it's good to see.
They rate really well, don't they?
Yeah.
Really, really well. Like, I think even one won the Hobart.
It all comes down. It all comes. It's a standard. It's a standard handicap situation, isn't it? It comes down to how long you're spending at sea, I guess. And in those sort of races, it seemed like there was a bit of pressure at the end, and that's how it panned out. Now, are we done with that? Are we done with that race?
Yeah, mate.
Because I'd like to sort of say something quickly, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go, buddy.
I would like to actually send out my congratulations to Daniel Belcher and our old mate Alistair Murray, if you don't mind.
Public news now. We can talk about that. Great. Yep, go for it.
It is public news. The new president of Australian Sailing is Daniel Belcher, obviously Matt Belcher's brother. And our good mate, Alistair Murray is vice president. So there we go.
So they weren't elected on looks, obviously.
Lucky they
No, I'm just looking at a photo of him, and that definitely wasn't the case.
No, not true at all. Let's roll on to a good one. So a big event in New Zealand happened yesterday.
Kicked off Friday.
Yeah. The New Zealand Coastal Classic, one of their feature events on the New Zealand calendar, 119 nautical mile.
I've got to say, Australia is famous for their great races.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we just had Bathurst. We got the Melbourne Cup coming up. Sydney Hobart. The Blue Water Classic, of course, Adelaide to Port Lincoln. And if there is a great race in New Zealand, it is this.
Yep.
Any yachty that you talk to, the Coastal Classic, that is what it's all about. They're not talking about the America's Cup. They're not talking about anything like that. It's about the Coastal Classic.
No, they don't care.
And it's interesting
because
because
the Coastal Classic.
It's actually organised by the Multi-Hull Club over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So up in to get up into from Auckland to the Bay of Islands, and I must say,
I've got an idea. The Multi-Hull Club over there.
Give yourself to the dark side.
We saved that for the powerboaters, mate. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
But I was looking at the results, and it's super quick. Big sou'wester, I believe. So just smoking up the coast. And the first guys, broke a record, the Bogest, the old Mod, I believe.
Mod 70, yep.
Yep, with Gavin Brady on the skipper.
First time sailing for Gavin Brady.
Yeah, hadn't done much yachting before. With his daughter being a navigator, actually. 16-year-old.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
So that was cool. I'm looking at the top 10 or 15 here, and the bars in Bay of Islands would have been busy Friday night, which they wouldn't normally expect. So with the first boat, with Gavin and his team going across the line at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
Wow. 5 hours.
Yeah, 5 hours.
Oh.
Yeah.
5 hours. For 190.
That's dangerous. That is dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's 24 nautical.
They're in for happy hour. They're in for happy hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unreal, isn't it?
So not only have they got to deal with the locals in for happy hour, they're dealing with incoming yachties. My God, would they have staffed for that?
I
Well,
You know what popped
not
into
in
my-
recent years, but possibly. Well, hopefully they would have got the heads up from the organisers to stand by.
You know what popped into my mind? Once Were Warriors. That bar scene from Once Were Warriors. Have you seen that, BP?
No, we're a bit too far north for that sort of.
I have.
Oh, what a movie. Oh, Google bar scene from Once Were Warriors. Holy dooly. Jake the Moose. Oh, what a movie.
Yeah.
Show my age a little bit there. 24 knot average. Fantastic. Who won? What else? Any other interesting results on that?
Well, all the normals were there. And like I said, it is the race of the year for all the Kiwis, and all the top boats were there, all the cats, and Pete Gear was there with Katuku, and we had the Harry Dodson as well on Mayhem, Attitude, all wide, Kia Car, all the boats. So it was a bloody good one.
Yeah, I wish we were on that. I'd love to have done that. That sounded like a ton of fun.
Next year.
Oh, yeah, no, but only if we get the same weather conditions, mate. Full noise for 120 mile. Fantastic. Just be unreal. All right, we're nearly done, boys. We're moving on to round the grounds. Round the grounds. The only thing I really noticed is the Hobie 16 World Champs starting this week. 1st of November start in Fort Myer, which is the west coast of Florida. Hobie 16 Worlds, as I said, I mentioned some friends of mine who are right at the top end of that fleet, fighting out for first there. So good luck to Susie and Cam and the rest of everybody competing there. Obviously on the west coast of Florida, so we can't tell any of our South Beach, Miami stories.
I can. Picture this, BP.
Oh, no.
A 6-foot man walking down the road with a 7-foot man's head on his body. And
that's me.
20 years ago when I was in South Beach, things have changed a little bit. So we thought we'd just go for a quiet beer, and of course we ended up in a few establishments that we probably shouldn't have. And we're going to leave that there. Much like that other topic, it's time to leave before I say too much.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's a crazy city. Have you been there, BP?
No, never been to the States.
Oh.
Ever.
Right. Well, South Beach, Florida, Miami she's crazy. It's an eye-opener. It's a cultural experience. I won't say any more than that. If you do want to contact us and give us some feedback on that statement or any other statements, or just want to tell us some ideas, we've actually had a few little bits of feedback this week. Someone should bring those up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, have you got them up, BP? Because they were good. We had some good feedback. We should give them a little bit of interest, because we do actually listen to you and we write back to you. But you can contact us. Hashtag.
Yes, we responded. Yeah.
What was that one? There was two, I think, that we wanted to talk about. Have you got them up?
We just had a couple of people come in and just say great work, loving your work, and keep up the good work. And it's always good to hear what people are thinking. And as you say, if there's anything you want us to talk about, give us a yell.
Yeah, well, we'll throw a few topics up. Boss is just looking up. So you got those two, Boss?
Yeah, so got Vesa Haninen actually asking for our...
That's him, yep.
Haninen, yep. Asking for a little bit of feedback on a little business that he's setting up and how it would set up in Australia. And we're happy to provide that feedback and happy to do anything we can. Actually, for anyone who sends in any questions or they give us feedback, or
let's put his name up. Well, let's be nice. What's the company name?
The company name is Rent-A-Boat.
There you go.
Skippery.
That's it. And there was another one.
Skippery.com.
Oh. There was another question there that just came through early on today. But anyway, I'm trying to remember who that was from. Oh, yep. Just our friends at the World International Laser Council were talking to us, which is good because we give them a lot of plugs. That's right. So happy days. Baccarat is starting to mean lots to people, and we genuinely are hearing that feedback. And as we say, if you don't like it, just send money and we'll know, and we'll change our waves. contact us on Facebook. We'll put a few of these questions up on Facebook and the Bar Karate website, which is barkarate.com.
Actually, a good one to mention. If you do have the time, just share the episode as we put it up to your network of people.
Oh, that'd be cool.
As we get more and more listeners, we can
do more,
essentially, and get more and more feedback and provide anything that you guys want.
So we had a really good idea.
Bearing in mind,
go on, BP.
Bearing in mind that our merchandise is going to be coming out soon, so those people who are on our subscription list are in line to win a terry toweling hat, a stubby cooler, or a pair of thongs. So that's the deal.
Actual merch may differ from what BP says. There's a disclaimer. We did actually, BP. I think Bicey and I had a really good idea of a segment. We'll talk about it next week. We thought of it just before coming onto the show. But the question I wanted to ask this week to the listeners, if they go onto the Facebook, throw up the best names they've seen on a boat. It's a pretty standard one, but throw up the best name you've ever seen for a boat, on a boat. Throw it up on the Facebook page or the Instagram or however you want to communicate with us. We'd be interested to see. I reckon that'd be pretty cool. What else? That's pretty much it. We'll just go into the quiz question. So the quiz question at the last week. Oh, yeah. Where does the term feeling blue come from?
Why am I feeling blue?
Yeah. So this is kind of weird. And we'll tie it in because we are promised. We've got this amazing professor of linguistics that's going to come on and do a show talking about language and the evolution of sailing terms, and he is such a cool guy to listen to talk, and he's really keen to do it. And we're sort of going to build that up, so we'll get lots of your questions about that. But the term, where does the term feeling blue come from? If a ship lost its captain during a voyage, the sailors would throw blue flags up in the arms to indicate the loss. So if you're feeling blue, you're actually referring to the blue flags that the ship's crew used to signal that they had lost their captain overboard and that they were in mourning. Have you ever heard that?
I have never heard that.
Neither had I. Until I discovered
No.
Very good.
Now you mention it, it's like, why on earth have I ever said that before?
Yeah.
That sounds so stupid.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, well.
We're all smarter now. Okay, next week's quiz question. We all know the Dutchies, our mates in Netherlands, and I can't help but say this was motivated by two reasons. We're going to the Netherlands in a week and a bit.
Yep.
And when people work out the answer, I'm going there next week. That's where it came from.
Oh, bravo.
We all know the Dutchies are the tallest population in the world, average height of about 6 foot. But what is the country with the shortest population
They
in the world?
need to be the tallest in the world. It's just evolution. Got to keep their head above water.
Above water, that's right. Well, actually, this country's sinking. The capital of this country is actually sinking. So the answer, who is the shortest population in the world? I'm pretty tall, I'm all right. So that's it. Gentlemen, I don't know if it was a good show or a bad show. We had a lot of fun, though. That's what I'm going to say.
Love it. Well done, fellas. BP. Chat next week,
Good on you.
See you, boys.